this is what we call the traditional lute sarod, because we decided to try to make it sound as close as possible to a traditional sarod. Now, how did we do that? Well, we isolated a few features of the traditional sarod that were missing on the lute sarods that I was making. And one of those features is the thickness of the body. Because previously I was making the backs with single layers of bent hardwood, and each layer was about 2 or 2.5 millimeters thick. Okay, now the thickness of the traditional sarod is about 5 millimeters thick. Okay, so that's quite a difference, and clearly that affects the tone, right? Now, how does that affect the tone? Well, it affects the tone in the sense that when you have a heavy body, it's not going to resonate very much, right? Like it doesn't resonate. A thick wall doesn't resonate, whereas a thinner piece of wood resonates. So the thicker something is, the less it will resonate. It takes more energy input to get an output of resonance, right? So with a thicker body, less resonance in the body means when you pluck the string and this energy goes into the bridge, into the skin, the resonance that's happening in the skin, which is mostly what you hear, is going to be retained in the soundboard. Okay? So that's a way of making the resonance stronger in the soundboard or in the skin. Otherwise, if you have a thinner top, the resonance can leak into the body. Okay? So how do we achieve? So what we did is these ribs, which were normally 2.5 millimeters thick. What I did is I just made two ribs and laminated them together. So we have a double rib, which comes out to about 5 millimeters thick for each rib, which is the basic thickness of a well-made traditional sarod. Some of the cheaper ones, they don't take the time to carve them, and you'll have a thicker, a really thick body, which really, those sarods don't sound that good. So with a traditional sarod, you want it to be thinned out properly enough so you get down to about 5 millimeters thick, which is what we achieved with this. Doubling the ribs gives you a 5 millimeter thick body. Okay. The next feature that we evolved was the solid fingerboard, because the lute sarods, as I've explained in a couple of previous videos, the way I was making the lute sarod and the wood sarods fingerboards was to make a wood sub plate about 5 millimeters thick, and then on top of that a very thin piece of sheet metal. Now the problem with that was that the wood subplate would dampen the potential resonance of the fingerboard itself, whereas this design, whereas you just have a hollow neck, no wood under this fingerboard, and a thicker piece of sheet metal, like 1 millimeter thick, that stretches across the entire width of the neck, that means that the fingerboard itself can resonate, and it is resonating. And we realized that is a huge element to the tone of a traditional sarod. Okay, so that's what I've done on this instrument, and I'm consequently nowadays making all of my sarods with this feature. Unless somebody wants it done the other way, that's still do that. I mean, that has a different sound. I mean, it's also it's a kind of a more warm sound, more sustained with the wood subplate. But this single piece of hollow neck, this style, gives a really a brightness, a very high frequencies, and a lot of projection. It's a very nice sound. I hope you like it. Thanks.